How we doing, guys? Oh, let me just check the links have all gone out correctly. Awesome. All looks good. All looks good. Welcome to today's session, guys. Tommy, how are we doing, my dude? Hope you're all good. I'm gonna wait for a few more people to join the session before we get started. I have just sent a link into the Discord. So yeah, we'll just wait for a couple of other people to join. Also, let me know if there's any lag on this at all. Just let me know. I'm currently running strategy quant in the background, which uses up, I mean, probably about 50% of my PC power, which isn't ideal, but it's just running in the background. So hopefully it's SPWA is Tommy. No, don't ask. Dude, going through under a pseudonym, right? How are we doing, Canis Lupus? Hope you're all good, my friend. Hope you're all good. It feels like a while since I've been here, although it's only last week. I think because the past couple of weeks I've been so disturbed with finance magnets and being ill the week before and stuff like that. It just feels like I haven't had much time to stream recently, which is a shame because I enjoy doing this. But yeah, we're going to kick off today with, we're going to go through the DarwinIA report and just take a look at what happened last month. And then I'll kind of go into some thoughts about December, what to look out for the rest of the year, and kind of my plans moving forward, going into next year. Guess who's early? Who's unknown? P4C. That can't be tail. It can't be tail. Okay, let's jump straight in. So I don't actually think I've ever done sort of a breakdown on the DarwinIA report, but we send these out every month. But I've been getting a lot of questions recently on capital allocations, how many people we provide capital to on a monthly basis. Paulo Paris, how are we doing, my friend? Hope you're all good. So I thought it would just be good to take a look at the statistics from November, just so that you guys can see kind of company-wide or DarwinIA-wide, let's say, exactly what's happening, because trading's lonely at the best of times. But if you're only ever seeing your performance, your allocations, your performance fees, it can feel very, well, lonely and isolating, right? And I think you can take inspiration from other traders' achievements as well as your own, knowing that there's so many people who are succeeding and achieving great things, especially in this day and age with trading. There's so much to learn, there's so much to do, that there's kind of, and so many platforms to help you on that path, that every trader has a shot at the game. Getting ahead with Dr. Ojo. Great to have you here, my friend. Hi, thanks for coming online again today. Please can you share your experience with strategy quant if you can? Yeah, I will go over strategy quant in a moment. We'll go through the DarwinIA report, then I'll cover strategy quant. Probably not in the best position to talk too much about strategy quant because I'm still getting used to the platform. They had a great Black Friday offer on last week. I think it's still on for Cyber Monday. So I picked up the Pro license for £962, I think it was, which isn't too bad. It's usually like double the price of that. Obviously, it was 44% off. I didn't feel like I needed the ultimate license because I don't trade futures, and I don't necessarily think I need full access to Quant Analyzer because I'm pretty happy with how I've used it in the past, and I just have a free license to Quant Analyzer. However, strategy quant is so in depth. There's so many things to do that I just, yeah, we'll get into that in a moment anyway. Okay, DarwinIA Silver. So as you can see, if you've not seen this before, as I say, we send it out every month. It goes over the numbers from every month. Let me just turn my notifications off because I hate that sound when I'm streaming. So participants at the end of the month, at the end of last month, there was 9,062 traders in DarwinIA Silver. So of course that doesn't count the traders in DarwinIA Gold, and it also doesn't count any traders that are in calibration phase. How we doing, Tan? Hope you're all good, my friend. Michael J. Pasley, hi, how's it going? It's blah, 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 blah. If I could talk, that'd be great. It's great, my end, dude. Hope it's good your end as well. Missed my second 30k allocation by half a point in November. How's the account going? I mean, my account's going fantastic. I mean, it's a shame to miss it by 0.5, but just keep grinding, dude. Like every month that you go gets easier because naturally, obviously, this is if you have a positive expectancy, right? If you're performing well month in, month out, your previous 5 month return gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And therefore, it gets easier to hit that 75 rating. And also, when you hit 6 months, you get 1 bonus point as well, which is kind of, in your case, would have pushed you above that level. Unless you've already got that, then yeah, that's a different story. Charlie Bobby, hi, how are you? I'm all good, my friend. Hope you're all good too. Okay, so there was 9,062 traders in DarwinIA Silver at the end of the month. And out of those 9,000, we provided an allocation to 1,978 of those traders. That allocation ranges from 30,000 euros to 365,000 euros, if memory serves me well. The number changed a couple of years back, and I always get it muddled up here. 375,000 euros, not 365. So the total seed capital we allocated was 65,955,000. Now, of course, this is virtual capital, right? This isn't live capital. It is virtual. The performance fees are real. But of course, when you're in DarwinIA Gold, which is the next level, we do hedge that out on the back end as long as you're above a high watermark high to make the platform more sustainable. Participants receiving an allocation in their first month's participation was 146 traders. Now, that is a question I get asked all the time. Is it realistic to get an allocation on my first month of being in DarwinIA? And absolutely, 146 traders last month got their first allocation in their first month. You have to have a good performing month because you basically have 0% return for the previous 5 months. So the odds are stacked against you. But if you have a good enough return in that first month and a low enough drawdown, then yes, you will be able to receive an allocation like these 146 traders did. We had 93 countries participating, or 93 countries worth of traders participating in DarwinIA Silver. And the top 3 countries were Spain, UK, and the USA, which is fantastic because the UK and the USA is my domain. That's my area for growing the company. So whenever I see the UK and the USA, and of course Spain, because Spain is kind of the home of Darwinex, right? In the top 3 makes me super proud because it means that I'm doing my job by finding the best traders in those areas. And Joanne, who does my role, but in Spanish, shows he's also doing the best job that he can to find great traders. If we scroll down, let's take a look at DarwinIA Gold. So there was 466 traders in DarwinIA Gold at the end of the month, and 118 of those received seed capital allocation, meaning that we allocated 8.5 million to DarwinIA Gold traders. The difference with DarwinIA Gold is your ranking each month is determined by your return in that given month. So you might be coming off a poor period for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, however long it is, but it's not going to hinder you in the next month because basically every month starts fresh. So you kind of wipe the slate clean and you move forward in that next month. Whereas in DarwinIA Silver, your previous performance over the past 6 months can determine your your ranking in that given month and months moving forward. Tal, how are we doing, my friend? Of course I can. Of course I can scroll up. So these are the top 10 Darwins who was in DarwinIA Silver last month. So we had NID in first place, IQDP in second, DGQ third, fourth was NOCI, GQI7 is fifth, CIDY is sixth, STZ is seventh, SAIE is eighth, MKBU was ninth, and RWMK was 10th. Yeah, XAQP is missing. However, XAQP is currently number 46. you always get a good ranking if you have a good first day to the month. You always get a good ranking because there's people who just haven't traded yet. But also, as I was saying earlier in the Discord, for anybody who's in there, is the max drawdown in your DarwinIA rating only looks for the past 6 months. So essentially, your DarwinIA rating is a snapshot of your 6-month performance. So we have the return in the current month. We have the return in the previous 5 months. So we're looking at this period now from July to December, and then max drawdown since the 1st of July. Now you can see my max drawdown has been 4.33%, which you can see down here. But because that is now past the 6-month window, that doesn't count towards my DarwinIA rating anymore, which has helped me massively because it's knocked off 0.3% drawdown, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you know, it's a decent chunk. It's like what, just under 10% of my max drawdown has gone, just because of time, right? Tale, just because you trade on Classic doesn't automatically mean you're in DarwinIA Gold. Every trader is in silver until they meet the minimum requirements for gold, basically. The requirements are all the same. The difference is if you're a Classic Darwin or a Darwin trading live capital on the exchange or in the broker, it means you're open to investment straight away. So you don't have to be gold to be open to investment. Michael, you said DarwinIA Gold traders are using the firm's capital. So we invest the firm's capital 2 ways: through Darwinex Labs, which is our higher risk proprietary fund. So we allocate our own capital in there, and we leverage it up quite highly because it's kind of internal capital that we're happy to risk. We also have the index. So we have a significant amount of capital invested into the index, which obviously goes out to the traders. But the other thing that we do that was more of a recent introduction was when a trader's in DarwinIA Gold and they're above a high watermark high, meaning that we're exposed to their trading, we have to pay them performance fees. We will hedge their performance on the back end, meaning if a trader earns 10,000 euros in performance fees in DarwinIA Gold, it means we've also made 10,000 euros that gets paid to that trader because we're hedging out their exposure. So it basically means that we can monitor well, that's a lie. We don't hedge 100% yet. We hedge 66. So if a trader makes 10,000, we would make 6,666. the devil's number plus 6,000. So yeah, they're using the firm's capital in various different ways. It's still light out in the UK. No, this is my lightsaber. It's dark outside. You know, Christmas is around the corner when it starts to get dark at like 4, half 4. I actually took the dog out just before the stream because I had a busy day, so I needed a bit of a de-stress before I started streaming. And yeah, it was going dark quickly. Absolute pleasure, Michael. CSM said, how are you liking the SQX? Got it today too. I got the ultimate one. Felt like it's better for me as a long-term investment. I really love how complex it is. And if you're curious like me, it's going to keep you busy for some time. Yeah, I mean, the difference between Pro and Ultimate strategy quant X. The difference between Pro and Ultimate isn't crazy, I don't think, in terms of the offering. The one great thing about Ultimate, which was tempting to me, was you get all future upgrades, but I don't mind paying for that in the future. That doesn't bother me. So this is the one I bought. And then you've got Ultimate to the left. Like for me, the price increase for what I would use in Ultimate just didn't make sense. Unless they upgrade, where is it? Support and upgrades. If they upgrade the software next year, let's say, and it's 2 seconds. Can't be having that barking in the background. Up here now. Wait, up here. On your bed. On your bed. On your bed. Right, now we've got her away from the window and off her guard duty. Yeah, this is it's my lightsaber, dude. I always keep it here next to me so that when it goes dark, I've at least got some light in it. I also use it for, for those of you who don't know, although most people know, I'm studying for my IA at the minute, which is this book and another massive book that's like twice the size of this. Like for reference, the size compared to my hand, it's absolutely massive. So I'm studying for that at the minute. So that light comes in super handy because it's kind of, like, what's it called? I can't even remember, but it's supposed to help with focus and studying and stuff like that. Okay, back to the SQX. So if they come out with an upgrade next year, let's say, and it's revolutionary, I'm happy to pay the upgrade fee, which is probably like the difference between paying this now. Maybe it'll be more expensive. I don't know, because if the price goes back up, it is what it is. But the equities and futures, I don't need that right now. I don't trade futures. I don't have any plans on trading futures in the immediate term. I'd rather get used to the platform anyway first. I'm not planning to sell anything on the MQL marketplace. I am a big proponent of keeping your intellectual property private. I think this is great for people who, want to make quick cash. But if you build a portfolio of strategies or you build a multi-strat fund, there's so much money out there, to be allocated to your systems, that it's not worth selling anything, for a quick buck, and then potentially make $1 million a year after that, then selling something for $30 for somebody to go and use and basically rendering it useless moving forward. Portfolio master, I already do this and I have been doing this manually for the past year, so I'm not too bothered about that. Premium modules, I don't even know what's in the premium modules. Quant Analyzer Pro, Quant Analyzer is fantastic, and I do kind of wish I had this, but I think that's an optional upgrade of like $300. So again, I was like, well, if I need that, I'll buy it. But I do use Quant Analyzer just down here. I do use Quant Analyzer quite a lot when I'm trying to work out my portfolio weightings. Seasonal Toolbox, no idea what that is. It's good you get some more AI credits, but again, I haven't used that much yet. So the difference for me wasn't crazy, but I'm happy to upgrade in the future if I feel like I haven't quite got enough of a grasp on the platform. So for those of you that don't know, SQX or Strategy Quant X basically allows you to mass produce strategies for any market, put them through a hell of a lot of robustness testing, and then at the end, be able to extract that source code for the strategy, to implement into TradeStation, MetaTrader. I can't remember the other platforms. Oh no, I'd have to go somewhere else. Hold on. Resume. Yeah, TradeStation, Multicharts, JForex, Algo Cloud, which is Strategy Quant's other company, and MetaTrader. As CSM said, there's so much here. There's so much to absorb that I've been using this, pretty consistently over the past week, and I have used free trials in the past multiple times, and even now I'm still like, I just don't even know where to start. So the goal is I want to set up a custom project that basically does all of this for me. So my custom project will be build strategies. So basically it will build thousands of strategies in, I say, short space of time. I have a relatively powerful PC, so it doesn't take me too long to generate, 1,000 or 2,000 strategies. Then it'll test it through out of sample data once, test it through out of sample data twice, test it on 2 different time frames, just to make sure that the strategy isn't so overfit to one specific time frame, one specific market and time period. Test it with extreme slippage. So basically testing conditions of the strategy, then going into the parameters. So slightly tweaking the parameters. So let's say you're using the RSI, for example, just to keep it super simple, and you're selling at 70, buying at 30. This will test that by slightly tweaking those parameters. So, okay, what would happen if we sold at 69 or 71 and bought at 29 or 31, for example? If the strategy falls apart and breaks, again, that's a risk of the strategy being overfit to the overfitted to the curve of that specific time period with those parameters. Then it will clear all the rubbish strategies. Then it will go to the following task, which is where it saves all the files, including the source code from MetaTrader 5 to my machine. Now, that's great in theory, but I'm still yet to get the process to work 100%. Strategy Quant does have some courses on their YouTube channel which are free to watch, but even then it's still very, very intense. So I'm hoping that over the next sort of few weeks or couple of months, I kind of get more of a grip on the platform and I'm able to share a little bit more, because this will be a big part of XAQP specifically moving forward. My plan is I will still continue to use FX Streamer to build strategies manually, because for those who are unaware, this is my Darwin, although everybody who's in these sessions is basically aware. I built all of these strategies manually, as in using no-code block builders like Perfectus AI and FX Streamer. I test them all manually. My whole job has been manually building these strategies. So I think of an idea, I go and put it together. I then do my testing. I Monte Carlo test it. I do sometimes do out of sample testing, but it's not as robust as what you can do in Strategy Quant. But we've got to the point where I have a profitable multi-strat portfolio. Now I want to make it more robust. What I don't want to see is market conditions change and this just fall off a cliff. Okay, so I want to make it more robust, add more strategies, and just know that over the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, I can continue to run this, add to it, increase the capacity over time, and just make it more and more robust. So that's my plan moving forward. I will still use FX Streamer. I will still build manual, but I am going to put a big focus into learning SQX. And here's a bit of motivation, because when I first was learning FX Streamer, I was looking at this Darwin. So this Darwin is a friend of mine, the person who taught me to build multi-strat portfolios. What's the chance of generating long-term profitable strategies from this random approach? If you go through all of the robustness tests, then there's a high chance. It's going to take a long time. It's not a magic button that you press and overnight you've got this majorly profitable strategy that's going to kill the market consistently. That there's a very, very, very low chance, almost impossible, that that's going to happen. However, you will be able to find tons and tons of small edges that are consistently repeatable over time, and combined generate a multi-strat portfolio that can consistently beat the market over a long time horizon. Voice is lagging. That's probably because I'm running Strategy Quant. Let me stop this. Hopefully that'll sort it out. Risk 1%. Howdy, Kieran. How are we doing, my friend? When you migrate from D0 to Darwinex, will I keep the same ticker or will it change to a 3-letter ticker? And would my performance fees move over from Darwin to Darwin 0? Yes, you'll keep the 4-letter ticker. The only thing that would change is your account that you trade. Obviously, you go from trading a demo account to a live account, or a virtual account, I should say. I hate the word demo account. So you will keep your 4-letter ticker. Your performance fees will all move to your Darwinex account. So anything moving forward will stand there. Congrats on gold on XAQP. I appreciate that. Elaine Trade says, congrats on reaching gold. Well, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. I've got to, as long as I don't lose 13% this month, then we should be all good. So yeah, open into investors and into gold at the beginning of January. I withdrew some money earlier today. So I've had 4,000 euros in performance fees. Where are we? Withdrawals. Got to be careful. I'm not showing any bank details here. So I withdrew 2K today. That is to pay for Strategy Quant and my IMC qualification. So that's been withdrawn. The rest, which is 2,072, which I think will become available once my payment to my bank has been approved, that is going into XAQP at the beginning of January. So as soon as I'm in gold, I've already got it set up. So XAQP. I've already got my investor account set up. Everything is authorized on Darwinex.com. Where are we? Yeah, so my leverage is set to 3. So basically what that means is when I transfer the 2,000 euros in performance fees to my Darwinex investor account, which is here, I will be able to invest that into XAQP at 3x leverage, which basically means it's like a 6K investment instead of a 2K investment. Now, of course, with that comes the additional risk of larger drawdowns, there's also the chance that you'll make a higher return. Because if this was 3x or on 3x leverage, obviously my return would be 99%. My drawdown would be like 13 something percent. Now, if I go into 10% drawdown on my Darwin, that means that if I'm leveraged by 3 times, that I'm going to experience a 30% drawdown, which obviously isn't ideal, but it's my own trading. I'm happy to take that risk, and it's from performance fees anyway, so I'm not too concerned in that regard anyway. Wait, isn't it a live account anyway? So it's obviously virtual capital, but it's ran on live servers. Yeah, that's correct. Couldn't get the 3x, still struggling to register. Yeah, so we have to do, as part of FCA regulations, we have to do, what's it called? Like suitability assessments for clients. And based on like income, personality, habits, amount of savings you have, we have to limit clients to a certain amount of risk exposure per month. That might stop your leverage from being able to go to 3x, for example. Risk 1%. Thanks for answering. How's XAQP going with the FTMO? I will show you, my friend. FTMO. I don't know what my password is here. Oh my god. This is an email address that's like 5 years old. Yes, it's me. So these are the two accounts, two 200Ks. One is up 5%, so $10,310, and the other one is up 5.5%, so up 11,167. They're both phase ones. So I'm hoping to be live with those by April. These have been going since the 22nd of September, if my memory is correct. I don't know why there's such a discrepancy in the return. It was a trade that I think it was when the gold went nuts last week and the FTMO feed spiked me out at different prices. I think that's why there's such a difference in the balance. So yeah, 22nd of September. So it's been 22nd of October, November. So just over 2 months, and we're up 5%. I am running them at the same level of risk as XAQP, slightly lower actually. So it's still quite conservative. So I'm happy to run those till sort of April next year. Hopefully at that point I'll be live and it'll be happy days. But that's how the FTMOs are going. I was funded with FTMO at the beginning of last year, I think, and then I took some time away from it to focus on building a multi-strat portfolio. Before that, I was funded with FTMO for like 3.5 years, I think. I had 300K with them for a long time, but there was a massive opportunity cost there, and I didn't take advantage of it as much as I should. So I had this huge account. I say huge, like relatively for the time. This huge account with them, and I was taking regular payouts, but it was like 1,000 or 2,000 every couple of weeks. And looking back, I'm like, I wasn't ready for that level of that, because we're going back years ago now. I wasn't ready for that level of pressure on my trading. Whereas these days, I don't care about AUM. I've done enough work to be able to trade with whatever. Now, if you was to allocate 10 million tomorrow, I don't know how I would feel. I don't think anybody ever would know how they're feeling, but I know how I would feel at that amount of AUM anyway. Alain Trey says, I saw you passing some certification. Is out of curiosity, is it out of curiosity, or do you plan on managing funds in your own little fund? At this point, I don't know. So my plan is to pass it IMC, which is this. So I'll show you these are the. So there's 2 units. There's unit 1, which is investment environment, which is this trading manual. And then we have investment practice, which weighs a ton. So like, if you look how thick that book is, like, I don't know if you can really tell. And then the size of it is just massive. Like, compared to my head, massive, and it weighs a ton. So like, there's just a massive information. And the problem with this is I didn't realize how much of a reliance we built on AI and things, tools like ChatGPT, because wrecking the missus display. I started trying to read Unit 1, and I got about 40 pages in, and I realized that if you asked me a question, I wouldn't have been able to tell you a single thing. I wouldn't have been able to tell you diddly squat. And I was like, the reason being, excuse me, you're not going downstairs. No. Come here. Because you'll start barking again. I realized that I had basically lost the ability to read. That's definitely a spammer in the comments. So I'd basically lost the ability to read purely because over the past few years we built this massive reliance on AI, and rightly so. Like, it helps you be way more efficient with like tasks that you're doing every day. But when you come to learning stuff, it's not good, because I'm just so used to being like, oh, I don't know this, let me ask ChatGPT and I'll have a basic understanding. So what I've had to do is like actually adjust my learning style. So, and I am using AI for this. So what I'm doing is committing an hour a day and 30 minutes on a Sunday just to test myself. There's an hour a day where I go through the book. I highlight key topics. So I make sure I'm physically reading the book, no distractions, phone off, a little bit of music on in the background, some lo-fi beats. And I'll read it. I'll highlight everything. I'll then take a picture. So on your phone, my phone's plugged in here. I don't know if I'll be able to show you. So when you're taking a picture on your phone, a little icon comes up here, and it's to scan text. So basically what I've been doing is scanning the page. So scanning the text on the page, copying it to a document and uploading that to ChatGPT. And then when I go out for a walk with the dog, which is usually an hour, I'll get ChatGPT to read the document and test me on it. So that I'm just constantly going over the information, because it's been quite a humbling experience. I didn't realize how much I didn't know. And that's quite concerning, knowing that I have a year to pass both modules. So technically I'm doing like 2 hours a day of study. I'm doing an hour of reading, making notes, getting everything prepared. And then, 40 minutes to an hour of when I'm out walking the dog, I'm being asked questions by AI, and still using AI to help me learn, but actually learning it for myself, which is the key difference. So anyway, once I've done my IMC, which is probably going to take me 8 months, 12 months maybe, I'm then going to do my CFA, which is Chartered Financial Analyst. That's probably going to take a while longer, probably a couple of years. And then after that, I'm going to get my CIPM, which is Certificate in Investment Practice, I think. I always forget what it is. Or Certificate in Performance Management, something, or Investment Performance, something like that. I always forget what the acronym is. But to answer your question, Rob, Rob said, what have you learned from the book so far? A lot of it is just, well, I'm doing the module on investment environment, right? So it's a lot about companies involved, more specific to the UK. So companies like the FPC, the PRA, the FCA, all their sort of laws and regulatory requirements they have, the years they come out, what those laws and guidelines mean, what an MTF is, a multilateral trading facility. There's so much that I read and was like, I have no idea. I know how to trade, I know how to click the button and buy and sell, but I actually have no idea on the professional side of the industry, which is even scarier because I work in the industry, right? But there's so much theory behind the scenes that you just would never be exposed to unless you literally do the qualification. So it's been really eye-opening. I thought I was going to breeze the IMC, but yeah, it humbled me very, very, very quick. I don't think it'll be it's not something that I don't think I won't pass. It's just something that I will actually have to study for. I thought I was going to walk in, know all the stuff on day one and be able to just take the test, but that's definitely not the case. And so, yeah, that's what I'm going for the certifications. In terms of a goal of that, I mean, it's going to benefit me at Darwinex. I can have a greater input on the growth of the asset management side of things in the UK because I'll be able to work directly with regulators. I'll be able to, if I get my CFA and my IMC, CFA level 2 plus my IMC means I will be able to get regulated as an asset manager myself, which brings value to Darwinex. And also selfishly, maybe in the future, I'd like to, I don't think I'd like to run my own fund. I like trading. I don't necessarily want the headache of all that, headache of all the infrastructure on the back end. But it would be nice to have that option. And also, like it's just good. Like it feels good to be a valued person, right? And I always think if the more value that you can give to yourself, and the more demand you create for somebody of your value, then the better, right? I like that. I thrive off that, and also I just love to learn. So I don't really know what my goal is, but it benefits me as a trader, as an investor, working for Darwinex, and any future prospectus sort of thing. What was the title of the book again? So there was 2 books. The first one was Investment Environment Manual, and the second one is Investment Practice Manual, I think. Yeah, investment environment and investment practice, but they are expensive. It's about £300 for both books, and they go out of date at the end of every year. So every year when they update the IMC syllabus, those books basically become redundant. So yeah, it was about £1,000 all in for both unit assessments and both unit study guides or learning materials. So it's not too expensive in terms of like a financial commitment, but it's. I met somebody the other day, somebody who I've known for years and years and years, who basically they work with a broker, but they also have an asset management company. And he started his IMC, I believe it was his IMC, and he gave up after a few months because he was like, I just can't be bothered for all the study. And he didn't need it because he was already, set up as an asset manager. But I love the challenge. I love like trying to consistently learn and improve and stuff. That's why I bought Strategy Quant, because I have no idea how it works, but hey ho, we're gonna get it done. Just FYI as well, it's just come to mind. I mean, this is completely unrelated to trading, but has anybody seen Google have just released something called anti-gravity, which is basically like Replit, which I think I've spoken about a few times on these sessions before. So Replit is a AI platform where you have an agent that will code a platform for you. Google have just released anti-gravity AI, which is like, at least there is a free version of it, where you can just build your own apps, your own websites, anything that you want, which is unbelievable, right? So I've been having a play around. I'm trying to build something like a platform that I can use myself to make sure my strategies are as robust as possibly can be. But I'm just having a play around. But one of the things that we're looking at the minute is we have a load of API endpoints at Darwinex, and we want to be able to give users like a manual to be able to build your own dashboard where you can pull your own metrics and your own things that you want to see that's kind of updated in real time. And I think when I get more of an idea around that and what is actually possible, I'll probably start doing it on anti-gravity and making some guides for you guys, or like a video that just says, listen, if you want your own personalized dashboard with your own metrics and your own feeds to Darwinex and to your MetaTrader account, this is how you can do it. This is how to build it. Anti-gravity is fantastic. I've already cancelled my Replit subscription just because I'm going to go fully into anti-gravity. You might have to download Python libraries onto your PC, but it's worth it, especially to save money instead of paying Replit. Document just published said, not related, but I was a mortgage broker previously, currently studying in cybersecurity. My brain's always fizzled. BQPN. I've recognized BQPN as a ticker. Cybersecurity, I mean, that's an industry or a sector that's growing rapidly, and it's something that I've actually looked at in the past, but I just have no idea where to start, at least with like investment management and stuff. I actually know kind of what I'm doing. Sanwa, yeah, I feel like I've seen this ticker before. I can't remember if I've looked at it on a session or something. But it's fantastic start, brilliant start. But yeah, that's how I feel. My brain is always fizzled, and I've got 2 young kids, right? So I'll be working all day. I'll be managing my trades. So of course my portfolio is all automated, but I always have an element of human discretion. So I will sometimes cancel orders if it's trying to buy all-time highs, or whatever there is. I will always have an element of manual discretion. So I have that to focus on. I have my job. Obviously, I have friendships and people to talk to throughout the days. I have a few investors privately. Then I'm trying to learn how to use strategy quant. Then I'm trying to do my IMC qualification. And then it's like I'll go downstairs and speak to my kids, and all of a sudden I'm like, all my days, my brain is just gone. That's why we get to the end of these sessions, especially specifically the ones on Tuesdays, because I do them an hour later. We get to like 6 p.m. and I'm just fried and I can barely get my words out. But it's all worth it, because if it wasn't that, I'd just be sat here playing games in my spare time. I love like playing games. So like I actually bought a Nintendo Switch probably about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. Because when I'm sat with the missus downstairs and she wants to watch something on TV, I'm not a massive TV guy, so I can just pick this up and just play it like handheld now, and it takes me back to the days of like when I was a kid. And CSM says, I'm back. Did I miss something? We've just completely pivoted from trading to gaming. And but like I used to have like a Game Boy Advance SP, PSP as well, PlayStation Portable, so it takes me back to those times. But the Call of Duty, yeah. The only problem is with the Switch is it doesn't have some titles like Call of Duty, but I also have my PC, right? I think most people have seen it before, because I think I've shared it on videos and in the Discord, but I've got 4 screens, so I can watch something on one screen, play games on the other, and still have my trading open. But I just don't do that very often. But when GTA 6 comes out, I will definitely be buying it on my computer. Risk 1% says, I bought a Steam Deck recently, best purchase in a while. Is that that's the Steam handheld console, right? I think handheld consoles are making a big comeback now, because they're just like, when I went to Madrid the week after I got my Switch, which was like last month or 2 months ago. I can't remember when it was. And it was perfect. Like I could play it in the airport. Like I played it on the plane. I played it in my hotel room. Like it was just great, because it was just, you could pick it up and walk around with it. But the graphics on them now are fantastic. The only problem is it's a little bit laggy. Like I play FIFA, or not FIFA, FC 26 on it. When it's on the TV, it's fine. When it's on the handheld, it's a tiny bit laggy, but I'm used to it now, so I don't even see it. But they're fantastic. Nukem, good day, mate. Hope you're all good, my friend. Rob, Rayman, Crash Bandicoot, Mario, Time to Kill, Vice City, the best games. Yeah, I've got all the Crash Bandicoots on my Switch. I've also got Spyro. I'm a big nostalgic gamer, right? XAQP will reach 1 mil before GTA 6. I would hope so. I think we've got a couple of years till GTA 6, so I would definitely hope so. Yeah, I've got so whenever I get a new console, so I've got it all on my PC, I've got it all on my Xbox One, which I don't use anymore because it's basically broke, and I've got it all on my Switch. I've got the old Spyro games, so the remastered trilogy. I've got the Crash remastered trilogy, Crash Team Racing, because that was like my all-time favorite game. Tomb Raider. I got Tomb Raider 1 through 3. So the original trilogy. I've got that on my PC, Xbox, and Switch. I'm gonna get the second trilogy, because I've never played them before. The Tomb Raider, Last Revelations, Chronicles, and Angel of Darkness. I've never played any of those 3, but I think they're on offer for Cyber Monday for like 16 quid. So I think I'm going to get those on my Switch. Yeah, games are pretty crappy nowadays. I can't even remember. Apart from Red Dead Redemption 2, that was like my favorite game of all time. Like of modern gaming. I think GTA 6 will be another level. I think it'll be this. It'll feel like GTA 5 felt when that first came out. But how long it'll take, I don't know. With the level that they're stepping up to now, I wouldn't be surprised if it just gets delayed and delayed and delayed, because I think they'll advance past like the current power that consoles can go to, if that makes sense. which, well, that wouldn't surprise me anyway. The all-time goated game, though, and tell me I'm not wrong, is RuneScape. Oh my life, RuneScape is one of the best games ever. Oh, didn't mean to shout. And not the new RuneScape, like old school, like Grand Exchange. Dragon. What's that? Dragon Slayer. Like old school RuneScape was, yeah, the dogs. Yes, CSM said it's going to set a new standard for sure. Yeah, I'll tell you what selfishly is great for me is that XAQP just gets so much exposure because obviously when I'm streaming, I'm talking about it. So there's people constantly seeing it. And obviously the guys at Darwinex Labs know that that's my Darwin. So they're going to provide me with a report when they go through it at the start of next month. So it's like selfishly, there's a lot of eyes on XAQP, and I wouldn't be surprised if it scales pretty quickly. You know, not in an obnoxious way, but it's kind of like there's just more eyes on it than on the average Darwin, right? I guess the same way that somebody like Sorrow Trades, who has a decent following and a fantastic Darwin. If you haven't seen it, it's PPWV. In fact, we'll leave IMA open for now. So Sorrow Trades is scaling nicely, but that's because he's got a decent following and he's performing really well, right? So his record is over a year long now. He's absolutely killed it this year. He's up 44.68% this year. And he's now sat at $588,000 in investor capital and just over $1 million altogether combined with DarwinIA. So I think it'll probably, XAQP will probably go through something similar. Just because, like I say, there's a lot of eyes on it. Just means I need to keep performance high. It's like an ad in the background. That's exactly what it is. And I forget a lot of the time, but people will tweet at me. I've had it quite a few times where people will tweet me and they'll say, "Is it open yet? Is it open yet?" And I'm like, "Oh, I forget people are actually, like, when I'm talking about it, people are actually listening and watching." SPWL is the second best. Yeah, man, you're scaling nicely. I remember when you messaged me last week when you had this sudden surge in investor capital. So it's nice to see you getting the AUM that you deserve, dude. Fantastic year of trading, 32.8%, like phenomenal performance. Especially knowing, you know, I've known you for a long time now, Rob, and seeing your curve of growth has just been phenomenal to watch. So well done to you, dude. I realized I got sidetracked a long time ago. So this is going back to document just published said last proper PC game played was Star Wars Old Republic. I remember that. That's an old school game. Is it the one that I'm thinking of? Star Wars Old. The one with the face on the front? Oh, no, that's not the one I was thinking of. What's the one I was thinking of? Knights of the Old Republic. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. What was the Phantom Menace PS1? Was it PS1 or PS2? Yeah, this was a brilliant game. This was. I used to play as Plo Koon all the time. What a game! Does anybody remember this game? I'm praying that they remaster this at some point. Crash Bash was just unbelievably fun. Knocking each other off the ice block. It's fantastic. If anybody's tuning into this now, I promise we have been talking trading for quite a long time, but we're just, you know, we're dilly-dallying in and out of trading, in and out of gaming. Elevant said, what do you think of systems that use a soft martingale on a trade-to-trade basis, meaning increasing risk slightly after each loss in a controlled and capped way? Would this not be ideal for Darwinex? It all depends on how you mean, quote unquote, slightly. If we're talking like a slight increase, you'll be fine. If we're talking, you know, going from 1 lot to 2 lots to 3, you're probably going to find that you'll have a bit of an issue. I have a system that does this using a 1.5 multiplier up to 6 times and resets. It was working fine for a month till I reached the last step and VAR spiked a lot, so I tuned it down to 1. Yeah, that's the thing. The problem with martingale systems, whether they're soft or hard, is it's fine for a long period of time, but when it gets bad quick, and that can harm you moving forward. So BYXB, I've always been open about this using a martingale. I have a martingale carry trade system on this. The Signal account is fantastic. It's up 16k, so it's phenomenal. But my Darwin's basically been wrecked. So it was working fine for a great a great length of time, and then this was only like a 7k drawdown on my Signal account, but it slaughtered my Darwin, and then it's just been again sort of this kind of thing moving forward. So that's probably what you will experience at some point, because when things get bad, they get bad quick. It's not kind of like a steady drawdown. It's like you fall off a cliff. So you can make it work, but I would just make sure that the slight increase is a slight increase. Because if you think about it like this, if you're going from trading a 1 lot and then your next increase would be a 2 lot, that's 100% increase in size, which would therefore be 100% increase there or thereabouts in value at risk. So that's something to be aware of, because I had this conversation this morning, funnily enough, with somebody who had sent me their trading history, and I was taking a look at it because their value at risk had basically been, lit on fire. And it was because he was doing the same. He was doing a soft martingale. So it would be like a martingale sequence, right? Of martingale position sizing sequence. But what he was doing, he was doubling his size. So he was going 5 lots, 10 lots, 20 lots. And he understood this completely. There wasn't any animosity when I explained it, but I was like, if you look at the 5 lot compared to the 20 lot, that's a 400% increase in position size, which means your value at risk will pretty much increase by 400%. So it's a big, big difference. And when the risk engine's trying to find stability and consistency within that, it's so difficult to do, because there's no kind of rhyme or reason to your sizing other than, well, the last trade lost, so I'm gonna gonna bet more this time, which maximum number of losses in a row. I mean, it's completely unrelated, but I guess it's still relevant. So the biggest number, or the record consecutive losses, was a football team, and that was 65 games. So I wonder if there's one. I can't be bothered to find it because I'll be searching for random stuff. But the point is that you can lose and lose. You can keep losing to the point where you will lose all your money before you get that one winner that you need that sets you back up and wins back everything that you lost. So yeah, how are you doing on your challenge so far? I presume you mean FTMO challenge. Maybe you wasn't on the session when I was going over that. Rob said, yeah, I played after shut my finger in the car door. Remember Harry Potter PS1 with the Knights? Yeah, Harry Potter on the PS1 was a killer. Harry Potter 2, however, Chamber of Secrets on the PS2, phenomenal game. Can someone tell me where the pots and pans aisle is? Great work on your Darwin, Kieran. I appreciate that, dude. I appreciate that big time. Pots and pans aisle. I'm going from 0.25% risk per trade, increasing risk by 1.25 times up to 6 times. So last step would have a risk of 0.76%. Bar seems to be okay with that for now. Yeah, just remember it's still a big increase. The risk engine likes consistency, and it will try and encourage that behavior. So your results will vary, if you're changing your sizing. If it's a slight change, then there won't be, there won't be anything dramatic. But if you're doubling your risk or what have you, then yeah, you will see a change. CSM said, yes, I'm a bit interested how you manage risk on that in your context. Let's load it back up. So I run my master account, my Signal account. I run that on 3x risk, I believe. So it's just under the same risk, just short of my XAQP risk level, because that's 3.4x, 3.36x. So I'm running these at basically 3x. The one account is up 5%, the other account is up 5.5%. The equity curve's up pretty decent, to be honest. Percentage. So yeah, I'm 5.5%. So I've still got a decent way to go to hit the target for phase 1. Then we've got phase 2, and then obviously I'll be live. I'm hoping that I'm live by April. There's no rush. Like I really, this is. I think everybody gets to this point as a trader. Like I don't care how long it takes now. It's kind of just getting there. It is what it is. I'd rather it take a long time. And in fact, Sanjeev said this in, I think it was last week's performance coaching session, maybe a couple of weeks ago. I don't know. He said a fantastic quote, and it's kind of stuck with me in a lot of what I'm doing, especially with studying for the IMC. Is everybody's looking for a shortcut, but quite often doing it the long way is the shortcut, right? We can and putting it to like funding account, you can or the context of funded accounts, you can go, oh well, I don't want to work for 6 months to get the live account, or I don't want to work for 8 months to get my Darwin into DarwinIA Gold. However, you might fall victim to constantly blown accounts, just churning through challenges, you know, account after account after account, trying to get that one big trade that wins the account, or sorry, passes your phases and then gets it live. And people can get so lost in that, and the failure rate is so high for a reason, because that doesn't work for many people. You have to be super, super lucky. And quite often you might spend a year doing that, but if you'd have spent 6 months doing things the long way without chasing that immediate return, it would have actually been the shortcut. You'd have saved yourself 6 months. So I know it's a very concrete example in terms of, like, you know, it might not be save yourself 6 months, but quite often doing things the long way and doing things properly is the actual shortcut. So yeah, up 5% on the one, 5.5% on the other one. Risk 1%. You're going to merge them into 1-400K. I'll keep them separate. I'll merge them into 1-400K. It's less headache for me, less accounts to check slippage and all that sort of stuff on. And then the goal will be, once it's live, I'm just going to trade them until I get 4% payouts, because FTMO have FTMO Prime. Is your way to see it? Is it under? I think it was there, wasn't it? How it works, scaling plan. Is it on here? Nope. Here we go. Prime. So to hit Prime, you have to have active FTMO account of any size. Aggressive accounts are not eligible. I have a swing account, so that shouldn't be an issue. You should have no failed FTMO accounts within the last 4 months. I don't and shouldn't have at that point. And then you have to have 4 payouts on a single order with a minimum profitability of 4%. So actually, I don't know whether it's worth keeping the 2 accounts separate until that. I'll speak to FTMO close to the time. But basically, if you take 4% payouts, then you'll be eligible for Prime, which gives you a few different rewards. So you get a free FTMO challenge, which doesn't matter because I won't be able to take that because I'll have the max 400K. Oh no, I tell a lie. They increase that to 600K. Discounts, certificate. I don't give a toss about the certificate. 5% bonus on the rollover amount added. So I'm guessing that means that instead of taking the performance fee, you'll get a 5% bonus if you just keep it on your account, perhaps. 90% reward instead of 80%, no time limits, access to 400K. So moving forward, you'd be able to purchase a 400K challenge, which I wouldn't be able to because I'd be 200K off that. So that's my goal is, and again, that might take me a year, right? To get I'd have to make what? 4, 8, 12, 16%. If I have a slow year, you need to, you are, what did you say? I've got to a point, there's no reason in getting fast nowhere. I recommend you merge them into 1-400K if you aim for Supreme. You will need Prime on that 400K to get Supreme. Okay, so yeah, maybe I'll merge them together. Maybe that's what we're Supreme. Must have an active 400K account, merge from 200K demo accounts, activation within Prime status for 3 months with at least 3. Okay, so yeah, I'll do that. So I'll merge those accounts, get all the Prime benefits, 1 million max allocation, which is where things can get silly. If you can get 1 million on 90% performance fee split, and you're just churning, 2% each month, and as long as you don't get banned, because you know, we know what prop firms can do at any time. As long as you don't get banned, then yeah, that's a solid position to be in. Opportunity to move to quant lane, not interested in that. I would hear them out, but I'd rather focus on what I've got going on now. Immediate reward. That's pretty cool. Although I'm not impatient. I don't mind, as you can probably tell by the way I'm talking about it, I don't mind waiting. Yeah. Let me see what comments I missed. Rob, PS2, every corner you had prefect shouting at you, Park at sleep. B's ranked 17 gold at the moment. Does that mean I'm better than XAQP? It definitely does, dude. It definitely does. You've got somewhere where I haven't got yet. The problem is I don't think I'll ever be that high in gold, because my returns are usually quite small, month on month. So obviously I had this 10% May, but XAQP is not the same portfolio now that it was in May. There's like triple the amount of strategies that are active, and the ones that generate that return are no longer active. So it is a different portfolio. September 7.18. Yeah, maybe you'd argue I'd be top 5, maybe top 10. But the rest of the months, 2, 3, 4, 2, I'd probably be in the top 100. So I don't think I'll be top caliber when I'm in gold, but I don't mind that. This is how you're meant to use prop firms. Yeah, as the trader, absolutely. As the prop firm, that's not how they want you to treat prop firm accounts, believe me. A good method for improving learning is the Feynman method, which involves explaining what you've learned to someone else or even to a camera. This method works well because when you try and explain something clearly, you're having to understand it thoroughly, which helps you remember it better. Exactly. That's what I've been doing. I know it sounds stupid, but it just clicked and worked really well. Is when I'm basically uploading a document. So let me, I think I've got it open. No, come here. Yeah. So I'm basically scanning all the document text. So this is one of the sections in the book. So on international securities markets. So I've scanned all the text and I basically upload this to ChatGPT. Obviously, I've gone through, I've read it all, I've highlighted things, I've done my own notes, and then I'll do a voice call with ChatGPT, which is a sick feature. If you've not used it before, it's absolutely quality. So I'll do a voice call with them when I'm walking the dog, which is like 40 minutes to an hour, and I'll just get them to ask me questions, and then I have to explain the questions. But I don't do like multiple choice questions. I do it so that I have to explain what the answer is, because, oi, stop barking, come here. Because by the time that he's explained all the multiple choice answers, I've forgotten the ones he said at the beginning. Yeah, 1 to 2% risk adjusted per month is the sweet spot. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you can go for 2 to 3% if I'm completely honest. Obviously, it depends on your max drawdown, right? But 1, 2, 3%. Like if you can do 1 to 2% per month, you're in the top couple of percent of traders. Like honestly. Darwinex is a bad place to benchmark yourself against people because, or to benchmark yourself against traders, because we have some phenomenal talent at Darwinex. So, and what I mean by this is you could be on Twitter, for example, and you could see, you know, this idiot's just taking this payout, or this idiot's saying this about some new ICT concept. And you could feel like you're quite far behind. Then you come onto Darwinex, and then you're looking at professional traders who actually kill it. Like it's a very, I don't think it's a bad place to benchmark yourself. In fact, it's probably the better place to benchmark yourself, because you can get lost in the noise on social media of people who can't actually do what they say they're doing. And believe me, I have access to everybody's track record, so I can and have searched people's names before, seen their tickers, and yeah, I have to say, Sorrow Trades is the only influencer, quote unquote influencer, somebody with a following. I mean, don't kill me if you're an influencer and you've got a good track record, but Sorrow Trades is the only person by memory who I know has been able to sustain a track record of like a year plus, who's got a decent following. Of course, there's other people, but there's not many people who, you know, sit on Twitter or Instagram saying, let me show you how to get funded in these 3 easy steps. There's not many of those who can trade long term. Which is why it frustrates me why there's so many educators out there. But hey ho, 'Tis the way the cookie crumbles. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna check if there's any final comments I've missed. I don't think there is. Yeah, I'm gonna call it an end to the session because I had to cut my reading short earlier, so I need to go through a few extra pages, and then it's time for my kids to come home. So I need to get out of work mode by the time they're back because today's been a bit of an intense day. So, guys, I appreciate you all joining. I'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. UK time. Probably just gonna do the same sort of chilled rap. If you can hear her barking again, I do apologize. It does made in shit. For context, I have my setup here, right? So I got my 4 screens. Behind that is stairs. So I'm in the roof, as you can see. In the roof, in the loft. We have a 2.5-story house. So this top floor is our bedroom. I don't know if you'll be able to see if I turn it around. There's my bed, my lovely bed. But she sits at the bottom of these stairs behind me, and there's a big full-length window, and she sits there barking at anything that moves. So it's super, super frustrating when I'm on important calls or on streams, and she just starts barking. But hey-ho, is what it is. Wouldn't change it for the world. Guys, thank you all for joining. I'll be back at 4 p.m. UK time tomorrow. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're watching this from in the world. And I will see you in the next one. Peace out, guys. Have a fantastic rest of your day.